Alrighty then. I just got finished watching TLC 2012. And I'll give my brief opinions on it. Alright, the first match on the card. Well, actually, it's more the pre-show. It was like basically a Divas Battle Royal to figure out the number one contender for the match later on against Torres, yada yada yada. This was just bland. Like, it's hard to get into Divas Battle Royals unless, like, the central focus stars are very good wrestlers. And the guys who seemed to be the focus were Caitlyn and Naomi. Naomi eventually won, and neither one of those two were actually that good in the ring. So, honestly, it just wasn't that remarkable. I would definitely call it a poor match because I was just completely uninvested the entire time. So I really just didn't care. I gave it 4 out of 10. I mean, it wasn't so atrocious that it just hurt my soul or anything, but it was like I could be doing something better. The actual opening of the match was Rey Mysterio and Cara versus the Rhodes Scholars in a table match to become the number one contenders for the Tag Team Championships. I thought this was a pretty good match. For as long as it went, they actually did quite a lot of really good spots. Rhodes Scholars are freaking hilarious. There was actually a really nice fast pace to this match, and and both sides took some really rough bumps. In particular, the finishing bump. Cara was gonna do a springboard attack against Damien Sandow, but then Cody Rhodes shoved him back. And then freaking Sin Cara took a rough bump on a table that was laid out there. And because of that, Rhodes Scholar win, and they are now the number one contenders for the Tag Team Championships. Now, whether or not that's on Raw or at the Royal Rumble, I don't know. I thought this was a pretty good match. I just thought it could have gone longer, and yeah, that's mainly it. It could have gone longer, and the action wasn't like spectacular. It was just entertaining enough, but it was still pretty good. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Next match was Antonio Cesaro versus RTruth. I know both of these guys can do much better matches than this. This was just uninteresting. There were so many rest holds, and the crowd was so completely uninterested in this match that it was just boring. I think RTruth hurt himself because he actually sent out a Twitter picture of a grotesque picture of his knee. So I think he might have hurt himself and he was just recovering during the match. But either way, this match was just uninteresting. Antonio Cesaro retains his championship after he uppercuts RTruth in the back of the head and then hits him with a neutralizer. Yeah, a poor match. I gave it a 4 out of 10. Next up was like, they actually had like a Miz TV segment. I kind of tuned out most of it. I came back enough. I came back to see the 3-man band talk some racist stuff against the Spanish announce team. And it's so weird to hear them talk racist stuff because it's a ginger, a Scotsman, and an Indian talking shit to Mexicans. And well, actually, I don't know if they're both Mexican, but it's a Spanish announce team. You know, it's like, yeah, this is uncomfortable. These guys, a lot of people consider these guys lovable, goofy characters, and they're talking shit this way. But anyway, this eventually, Ricardo Rodriguez, of all people, went to defend the Spanish announce team. 3-man band attacks them. Alberto Del Rio comes out to defend Ricardo Rodriguez, and then Miz helps freaking Alberto Del Rio. And they say, all right, we'll be in a match, 3-on-3, we'll find a partner. Yeah, this is weird. I think this is the beginning of a Alberto Del Rio face turn. How well that can work, I don't know. Like, I think they've done everything they can with Alberto Del Rio as a bad guy, but I'm not sure what they can actually do with him as a good guy. But I'm interested. They need some new babyfaces because they have basically no one. Next up was Kofi Kingston versus Wade Barrett for the Intercontinental Championship. I heard a lot of people playing this match up, but I thought it was mostly uninteresting. Not much really happened, at least for me. I really think Wade Barrett should have won this, and this is coming from a Kofi Kingston fan. Wade Barrett needs some major heat, and the fact that he lost after finally accruing some momentum, it just kind of left a poor taste in my mouth. Yeah, like, Wade Barrett goes for that bullhammer thing of sadness that he does. Kofi twists out of it and hits him with Trouble in Paradise. I gave this match 6 or 7 out of 10. It's like a TV match. You know, I kind of expected better. Maybe a better ending would have helped things out. Next up, a lot of people, when they're talking about the Attitude Era, kind of miss that. They talk about the blood, talk about the ass shots, the fucking nudity. But what a lot of people don't realize is how just chaotic the Attitude Era would feel at times. And that feeling is what I think is sort of missing from a lot of WWE programming. This match had it. The Shield of Seth Rollins. God, it seems weird for me to say that out loud. Of Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Rollins Reigns versus Ryback and Team Hell No. Holy fuck, this match was awesome. Like, it was crazy. It reminded me so much of the old days with the 24/7 rules of the Hardcore Championship. But, yeah, but this one actually kind of felt more organized. It was always, you actually did kind of have that vibe of that there was sort of a thought process behind everything. You know, Shield, it's like J-Bill said, they tried to get to work together to try to single out particular guys and then try to work on them specifically. There was actually such a nice ebb and flow to everything that it just kind of flowed well. And I loved, like, they would try to do everything big to try to take out the guys, and then they would try to single out the small guy in Daniel Bryan, who even he, when they started doing that, started fucking fighting back. And I even love that the ending, the little touch of the ending. What happens at the end is, like, Seth Rollins they set up Ryback on a table, and Seth Rollins is on a ladder, a really friggin' tall ladder, about to do something on a Ryback. Ryback gets up, but the other two Shield members, they go back to the ring, and Rollins is sort of left there by himself on that ladder, and then Ryback basically throws him onto tables where Rollins takes a really nasty bump on the back of his head. But back in the ring, Ambrose and Reigns powerbomb Daniel Bryan into a table, and that's how they get the win. So this is, first of all, Shield is actually here. They're established as a very, very good wrestlers, as they were able to take on 3 main event stars. You can kind of see how dangerous they were as a team, because none of them could get any offense once it was all 3-on-1, and you kind of get the sense that dominating the fact you get a sense of domination by the fact that they won. And yeah, this was a crazy match, but it was awesome. Honestly, this is my WWE match of the year. Not necessarily my ultimate match of the year, but this is I think the only match that was better than Undertaker Triple H at WrestleMania. Like, this was a freaking awesome match. I really wish this was the main event. I can sort of see why they pushed it back. But at the same time, like, with the build-up between the Shield and Ryback, I kind of feel like this could have been the main event too. Next match. This is a buffer match. This is basically intended to calm you down so you're ready for the Sheamus Big Show match. I don't think it worked as well as it should have, because I was still tired by the time that happened. Naomi comes back as #1 contender and faces Eve Torres in a forgettable match. It wasn't bad, and I kind of liked that Naomi showed off some of the moves she did, but yeah, it was just hard to get into the match at all. Eve Torres wins with just a rolling cutter. Yeah. Next match was Sheamus versus Big Show for the World Heavyweight Championship in a chairs match. I don't know if the crowd was tired, they just didn't care about these two, but yeah, 0 amounts of fucks were given. It was pretty brutal. A lot of the stuff they did was just pretty damn nasty to watch, and you could tell that they really were trying to do some sort of spectacle stuff. Especially with a lot of the heavy lifting. But the ending was kind of funny. Big Show pulls out what looks like a 100-pound chair and slams Sheamus in with it. And that's how he wins. It's actually kind of cool, because when I saw that, I was like, holy shit, how giant is that chair? Where do you even order that sort of thing? But anyway, Big Show retains the championship. And yeah, Big Show wins clean for the 2nd time against Sheamus. Now, whether or not this will lead to Sheamus finally winning at Royal Rumble is uncertain. Like, I don't know how they're going to continue from here, and I'm not sure if there's anybody besides Sheamus who can really give a good match against Big Show, because with Big Show, you kind of have to be able to handle certain things. You have to be able to make certain attacks look believable. And you got to have a certain amount of weight to do that. Next match was, as I said, the three-man band on Miz TV. Like, they basically called out these three guys. So then it was the three-man band of Jinder Mahal, Heath Slater, and Drew McIntyre versus Alberto Del Rio and Miz. And he says, this is the Brooklyn Brawler. Now, I need to point out something. First of all, this crowd was really awesome. Well, actually, it was on and off. The crowd, when they wanted to be, could be really into it, but when they didn't care, they didn't give a fuck. And I heard them get a good pop for the Brooklyn Brawler as Miz is Alberto Del Rio's partner. But this match was basically a TV match. Like, it's that sort of cheap pop match that you get on a TV match. Anyway, Miz hits the skull-crushing finale on one of the members of the three-man band. Brooklyn Brawler puts one of the members of the three-man band, I don't know which one, and not the Boston Crab, the Brooklyn Crab, and I think it was Mahal taps out. So, final match on the card. John Cena versus Dolph Ziggler in a ladder match for the Money in the Bank briefcase. I don't think this match was as good as it should have been. It felt a little too slow, and it felt like each of the guys were taking their time doing too many things. Like, I don't know whether or not they expected Cena to be like super ultra babyface in this one, but you just didn't get a good vibe. Or maybe it was that cut that Cena got in his eye, because very early in the match, Cena got a cut right on his eyelid. Like, I'm surprised they didn't like actually go to frickin' repair that, because that sounds like it could be dangerous. You know, you lose some. I wouldn't like a Rob Van Dam scenario of, oh, I thought it was a piece of skin, so I was almost gonna rip it off. You know, but this match was, I think, this was at least a good match between Ziggler and Cena. They had enough good hardcore spots to keep things interesting, and I liked. It had an all right flow to it. The ending of the match was kind of funny. AJ Lee comes out and she. Oh, wait, no. Vicky Guerrero comes out to try to attack John Cena. AJ Lee comes out to help, to attack, basically, Vicky Guerrero. Hits her with a bunch of Cena moves. Cena goes to climb up the ladder. AJ Lee starts skipping around the ladder, and then all of a sudden pushes Cena off the fucking ladder. He falls on the ropes, gets stunned, gets super kicked by Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler climbs the ladder and retains his Money in the Bank briefcase. So this is apparently a AJ Lee heel turn. This was kind of funny, but I still can't stand AJ Lee because I am just so damn tired of that bitch. So fucking tired of that bitch. But yeah, a good match. I gave it a 7 out of 10. So, on the whole, how would I rate this pay-per-view? It felt like there was a lot of filler, and what's good, like I honestly would say there's just two things that I thought were good enough to be worthy of watching. Shield versus Ryback and Team Hell No, definitely watch that one. That match was amazing. And Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara versus Rhodes Scholars. And the reason I say this one in particular is because Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara versus Rhodes Scholars didn't go on for that long, and they got what they needed to. Admittedly, they didn't. It didn't have like a grand scale of it, or a grand scale that really makes me get invested in what was going on. But a lot of cool stuff did happen, and it is a nice spectacle match. The reason I really wouldn't recommend Cena versus Ziggler is because it kind of drags on for too long, and by the end it stops being about Ziggler and Cena, and more about Cena and AJ. Although it might be worth looking up the clip of Cena hitting a Frankensteiner on Ziggler. So what would I rate this overall? I like to have I like the structure where it goes up to a crescendo, and the problem is the crescendo is halfway into the card. Yeah, this is actually reminding me a lot of how I kind of perceived WrestleMania, where I was like, only a few matches worth it, and most of the other matches were kind of bad. Although this one, most of the matches were just okay. So not a bad pay-per-view. I'll give it Jeez. I can't really give it any more than a 6. Like, it kind of... Wait, I'll put, like, 6 or 7. Like, I wouldn't exactly say it's like watching TV, but at the same time, there's so little that's actually worth seeking out that it's really difficult for me to recommend this whole thing as, like, a DVD purchase or whatever. But anyway, that was WWE TLC 2012. Hope you guys enjoyed my review. And stay tuned. I'm going to try to have my matches of the year. It may be delayed because I'm trying to find good quality versions of El Generico versus Kevin Steen, which happened earlier today, but I didn't see it. And I'm trying to find another match, match that got 5 stars from Dave Meltzer earlier this year that I heard was amazing in Ring of Honor. You know, I'm not looking into all of Ring of Honor, but I'm looking up into specific things because honestly, Ring of Honor TV is really boring most of the time. But anyway, try to stay tuned. I'll try to get some matches of the year. Peace.